Happy Friday, Broncos country. Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Moose, and before we get into today's episode and before we get into the weekend where we're going to start previewing some Broncos preseason football, we definitely have to talk about what went on during Broncos training camp so far between yesterday and today. Now, we are going to start a little bit backwards if you're looking at the title of this video, which says Bo Nix and Evan Engram dominate. We're going to start with the signings because there's a reason Denver has gone out and made two linebacker signings. The corresponding moves are signing Garrett Nelson and placing Johnny Walker, the UDFA linebacker, on injured reserve. And then another Garrett, a double dose of Garrett's, if you will, Garrett Wallow, who was signed today. He is practicing wearing number 46. This is obviously coming off of Alex Singleton, who is still not practicing because of his broken thumb, but also Dre Greenlaw, who yesterday got a little bit shaken up during Broncos practice as well. I think it's also fair to note that Q Robinson, one of the rookies the Broncos drafted out of Alabama, he's not practicing today, and he's wearing a brace on his knee. Now, technically, he's listed as an edge, but it kind of all falls under that linebacker edge hybrid combo. So we're going to talk a little bit more about these signings and what this means for the Broncos linebacker room here in just a little bit. However, with a new month comes a new challenge. So our off-season like record came in June of this year, my first full month hosting the Broncos Breakdown, where we got 20,195 likes. The bosses came to me and they said, hey, you're going to have to be challenged during football season. That includes preseason. So pick a goal, and I picked the like goal. Let's try to get up to 22,000 likes for the month of August. I think that we can do it. Let's start. These are training camp bodies, these two signings, by the way. There's no reason to go into full detail about what each player brings. These are training camp bodies specifically designed to be there on the practice squad or just at training camp. I don't think for a second either one of these players is going to make the roster, the 53 that is, or really compete for any significant any significant role really on this Broncos depth chart. But there is a reason the Broncos have signed two linebackers. I mean, can we all just acknowledge here for a second that the Broncos linebacker room, all of the injury concerns that we've talked about are kind of coming to fruition. I know. Alex Singleton will be back next week, and Dre Greenlaw's wasn't that serious. But all three of the guys that we listed as having potential major injury concerns have all injured themselves in some form or fashion during Broncos training camp. So Wallow, who hasn't played since 2023, and Garrett Nelson and producer Alper, you could just kind of flip through these two as we go back and forth because there's really not much to say on them. They're just going to be training camp bodies, but they're there because the Broncos, Sean Payton, George Payton, the coaching staff, they realize we need to keep our guys sidelined. Dre Greenlaw needs to be wrapped in bubble wrap. Drew Sanders, he's going to be out for a significant time. Alex Singleton, don't want to rush him back either. There's no point. It's preseason. If you want all of these guys, Drew Sanders, to be healthy for week one, you've got to limit their time on the field because clearly staying healthy seems to be one of those things that is a major concern right now. And this schmuck who was talking to you the other day on Broncos Live, look at him, look at his face, look at his ugly fat face. He was telling you that this was his concern, as is my concern. The depth at the linebacker position is the real only weakness. So outside of the major talent that the Broncos currently have at the linebacker position, there's not much after that. Justin Strenat is a fine backup, right? Dondre Tillman, a fine backup. All of these guys can fill a spot on the 53 and play in a pinch, but they're not ideal. You want Singleton out on the field. You want Greenlaw out on the field. You want to see what Q Robinson can do outside of special teams. All of these reasons are why the Broncos need to go out and sign or trade for a veteran linebacker. Because you can't bring these practice squad training camp bodies onto the 53 with you. So go out and get a guy who has proven to make 53s, who has given valuable starting reps, and maybe, just maybe, you sign him on a veteran min, and then you just say, hey, look, we're only going to keep you for depth purposes, to play when our guys need a break or to come in on specific packages. You can make a little bit of money. We'll make some more or give you some more in incentives, and then boom, we'll have you on your way. Teams do it all the time. So should the Broncos go out and sign or trade for a veteran linebacker? I think the answer is obviously yes. But either way, let me know in the comment section down below. Okay, let's talk more training camp dominance, because it can't all be negative stuff here by, or stretch of the imagination. I don't want to sit here and just kind of, spew nonsense at you. But first, let's get a word from our friends over at Fanatics. Listen, guys, if you want to rock the coolest Denver Broncos gear, kind of like the hat that I'm wearing right now, but also that hoodie that I was just wearing in that screenshot that you saw, yes, that was me. Spoiler. And that was the hoodie that I was wearing. You can do so with the link that I've put in the comments and description of today's video. It's not just the Broncos hoodie, though, which is perfect for not only the summer, but also for the early fall weather. You can find anything that you need for the 2025 season right there. And here's the cool thing. When you guys start to get into the watch parties with us, we're going to have really sweet Broncos gear to give away as well. But remember, this specific hoodie and other items can be found in the comments and description of today's video. Made it super simple for you. Click on that link and start shopping today. So let's talk about the dominance. Evan Engram was working with the wide receivers today. That's not necessarily dominant. That's just news. Like, he's working with the wide receivers, working with Cortland Sutton and working with Troy Franklin, Pat Bryant, and Marvin Mims. But then there was one specific play, and I can't show you because of copyright reasons. But there was a specific route where Evan Engram did an out route. So he goes out into his route, breaks outside, but fakes a cut in, and then slides out to the sideline, makes a catch, drags his feet, turns upfield, and just rides. And it was so smooth. It was just so ridiculously smooth. His route running capabilities are by far better than anything the Broncos had last year in 2024. I mean, it's not just the footwork, it's the hands, it's the ability to get open in the middle of the field. But I wanted to highlight one specific play that I went back when I was watching film, because I've started to watch film again now that football is so bike. And I came across this one play where Evan Engram goes out into the flat. He catches the ball and he follows his lead blockers and then kind of jolts upfield to try and get to that, that side pylon there in the end zone to try and score a touchdown. He ends up not scoring in this one. He gets pushed out at about the 9. But I think it really identifies an area that Evan Engram can also exceed, if not for the over the middle of the field. It's out in the flat. Give him some opportunities to catch some lead blockers. He's still got enough speed to make things happen. Granted, he's not going to run the same, 4.45 or whatever he ran when he came out of college, because he's a much older player. But he can still turn on the jets when he needs to. It's like an MLB pitcher who used to throw 98 miles an hour. Now that they're in year 10, they don't consistently throw 98. But, 2 to 3 times a game, they can really step on the gas and pump one in. Same thing with Evan Engram. He's not that old, but he's also not in his prime. He's a little bit out of his prime. He's getting to those older ages. So one thing that I've noticed about Evan Engram is that the way that you can use him is going to be so interesting to see in Sean Payton's offense. And I know the Joker term gets thrown around all the time. But the one thing that I'm really looking forward to seeing from Evan Engram is those ways that you can use him out in the flat rather than just over the middle of the field. Because all indicators, at least to me, from what I've seen at Broncos training camp, is that he's playing outstanding. He looks back to his old Evan Engram self like he was in 2023, when I believe he had, 114 receptions? I mean, it was definitely over 100. So he was cooking that year. So I'm glad to see that he can get to at least 85 to 90% of what that version of Evan Engram was. Let's talk about the other one, Bo Nix. And I've talked a lot about Bo Nix recently, and I've talked about how much, his intangibles are increasing with his desire to be one of the best football players in the world. But from an on-the-field perspective, Bo Nix has been improving every single practice. In fact, did you know, didn't throw his first pick of training camp until today. Guess who picked him off? Talanoa Hufanga. Funny enough. Shut up, producer Alper. He's talking about how Drake May is going to look better than Bo Nix this year. He's wrong. But I will say this. Bo has gotten better and better and better as the practices have gone along. And I will say it again. I've said it before. The player that he was last year to where he is right now is significantly different. Significantly different. These numbers won't even do it justice. If he has this same sort of style of production in 2025, it'll be kind of a disappointment. I am expecting better numbers from Bo. Over 4,000 yards, 33 touchdowns, 9 picks. I've staked my claim in that. And there's also way too much hate around Bo Nix right now. Not from, me, because I love Bo. I think he's going to be fantastic. I think he's going to have an awesome NFL career. But I was kind of getting back and forth with one of the other chat sports guys named Marshall Green, who runs our Giants channel. And he basically went out and asked if there's any 5 players that are better right now than the 5 Giants that he listed. So naturally, I went out and I listed my 5 guys, and I included Bo Nix on that list. And I got so much hate from these Giants fans. One guy said Bo Nix isn't even a top 15 quarterback. Then he called me a clown, which I thought was kind of funny. Excuse me. And then this other guy from Dame Time. So Damian Lillard's getting in on it. Excuse me. And this isn't actually Damian Lillard, but you get my point. Bo Nix and then the Shaq laughing meme. So there's a lot of people out there that believe Bo Nix doesn't have it. So how has Bo significantly improved? Right? Because you can't just say he dominated, he's making plays, because he is. We've got to talk about the improvements. He put on 5 to 10 pounds of muscle. So he's gotten bigger and he's gotten stronger, able to take more hits. His memorization of the playbook and his ability to spew out Sean Payton's play calling has significantly improved from when he started. That's to be expected, though. He's in year 2 of the offense. His communication with his players is, to me, the most important one and the one that's improved the most. When he goes up to a guy like Cortland Sutton and Troy Franklin and Devon Vele and Marvin Mims, he's walking them through where he wants them to break on the route. So you'll see him go up to Cortland Sutton, make a throw, pause the practice, walk up to Cortland, walk through the route, and then go run it again. It's awesome to see. And then his communication with Sean Payton. Those two have got to be lockstep. Mahomes and Reed are lockstep. Lamar Jackson, John Harbaugh, lockstep. Josh Allen, Sean McDermott, lockstep. All of the best quarterbacks are lockstep with their head coaches. And I think you're really going to see that come to fruition with Bo Nix and Sean Payton in 2025. So finish it for me. Fill in the blank. Will Bo Nix finish as a blank quarterback? He'll finish as a top what? Top 10, top 5, top 15. I think top 10 feels right this year. Somewhere between 7 and 9. That's my prognostication. But either way, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. That is going to do it for us on today. Remember, we have a like battle that we're trying to get to. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. And as always, be cool.